Hey friends, Dana here from Minimalist Baker, and I don't know about you, but I used to have a really big thing for Parmesan cheese. But when I ditched dairy a few years ago, I needed an alternative, and what I found was this delicious cashew Parmesan cheese, and I'm gonna show you how to make today. It's just 4 ingredients required, and it's delicious on top of things like pizza, pastas, and more. Let's get started. You're simply going to add your raw cashews, nutritional yeast, garlic powder, and sea salt to a food processor or high-speed blender. Pulse until a fine meal is achieved. As for the texture, it kind of depends on how powdery or a bit more textured you prefer it. I've personally more recently been going for more of a fine powdery meal because it's more consistent with how Parmesan cheese kind of acts in recipes. But if you're looking for more texture, just pulse a few times so a few bits of the cashews are still intact. As for storage, you can keep your leftovers covered in the refrigerator up to 1 month and sometimes even longer. So how do you use this delicious cashew Parmesan cheese? There are so many ways. You can use it as a topper on things like pizza and pastas. You can also add it in as kind of like a breading into things like these vegan meatballs that we'll link to down below. And my personal favorite is adding it to this delicious zucchini gratin, which we're gonna make next. So step 1 is to make a batch of this cashew Parmesan cheese. Next up, you're going to heat a 10-inch oven-safe skillet over medium heat. We prefer cast iron. And once it's hot, add a little bit of oil of your choice and then the onions and saute until soft and tender. Go ahead and season with a pinch of sea salt and black pepper, stir to coat and set aside. Preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit or 204 degrees Celsius. You're gonna slice your squash into thin slices about 1/8 of an inch thick. You can do this using a knife or a mandolin. Chop off the top couple inches of a bundle of asparagus and reserve the rest for other uses. Carefully halve the tops of the asparagus so it more easily nestles into the squash. Add your squash and asparagus to a mixing bowl and top with a little bit of olive oil. Add salt, black pepper, cashew parmesan, and garlic powder. And toss to coat. Spread the sauteed onions into a single layer on the bottom of the pan. Top with your slices of squash in a circular motion, overlapping them as you go. And because we're being fancy, go ahead and tuck the spears of asparagus in between the layers of squash in a circular motion. Top generously with your cashew Parmesan cheese and bake until golden brown, which is about 30 minutes. And to get a nice crust on the top, broil on high for 1 to 2 minutes and watch carefully so it doesn't burn. Then just rest for a few minutes before serving. And there you have it, delicious 4-ingredient cashew Parmesan cheese and an easy way to put it to use. If you guys like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time. Bye friends.